into the ancient mines. Now 2012 for me was the year when one of my worlds ended and another arose a million times. I was invited to be a stage manager at Piccadilly Circus, one of the Mayor of London's surprises as part of the Cultural Olympiad for London 2012. I stage managed a group called Asadia, who were circus hairdressers. I had an absolute whale of a time and gained a friend and ally in my assistant stage manager, Candy Chan. For the fourth time, I returned to the 24/7 Theatre Festival, where I started in this industry as box office manager for their venue 3MT.
Speak up, I can't hear you above the shirt.
Is there a writer in the house that can help Mr. Fudge with some lines? Well, great to see so many people here tonight. Is there a party?
Yeah. I went to the first of many of my friends' weddings. I was groups coordinator on Cheshire Dance and Walk the Plank's flagship Northwest Cultural Olympiad project, The Moment When, to recruit 10,000 people across Cheshire and Warrington and get them dancing in one way or another. We had 3 major shows, one of which was the culmination of the Olympic torch arriving in Chester at Chester Racecourse. Opening a Jubilee building for the Queen in Warrington, and as part of Festival 2012, a lovely picnic afternoon at Tatton Park in Knutsford. We also got hundreds of people lining the torch throughout Cheshire East, Cheshire West and Chester and Warrington, dancing along to one of our flash mobs to the Beatles. In 2012 I probably drank far too much wine and not enough water. I went to my first tattoo convention, the Manchester International Tattoo Convention.
Hey!
And found one of my tattoos in a tattoo magazine. I've got something epic to show you guys. My tattoo, the one on my arm here, is in Total Tattoo magazine. Woo! I started to train for a marathon, the New Bournemouth Marathon, which will take place in October 2013. I was lucky enough to be accepted onto the Atelier Young Festival Managers Conference in Slovenia. I met festival directors from all around the world and learned a hell of a lot about what I can do with my festival idea.
Festival directors as to cultural relations people. We do cultural relations today with people, not to people. Very important, with people, not to people. Our whole purpose, and one I've emphasised strongly since my arrival, is one of mutuality, of sharing experience and of dialogue.
I made many friends, new allies and new networks ready to set up the Broken Rose Festival.
Let's wave at these people. Like wave at the boat. It's on. There's a competition. How many waves you can get back?
Not Manchester.
It's the wave. Hey! Show a wave, damn you!
My festival idea is still being developed, but now I know that it's going to happen sooner or later. In 2012 my blog really took off, www.fieryrockets.blogspot.com, with nearly 4,000 views now, which doesn't seem that much. It means a lot to me that people keep coming back. It's about my life on both sides of the curtain. Please check it out. If I can get 4,000 views in 2012, who knows what could happen in 2013. I took the plunge and was invited to perform my poetry at various nights in Manchester, despite having never written my poetry for performance. The Price of Fame, and it goes something like this. His mother had always told him he had bedroom eyes, and when he walked in with his piercing gaze and feathery locks,
Leda could see what she had meant. I'll make you a star, not stationary, but shooting. I'll make your limbs sparkle through the sky, but first let me sculpt my scene around you. She didn't know what he meant, but she let him move closer, longing for the devotion he had promised. And when the pain kicked in, and her eyes flushed with tears, she persevered.
I got some really good feedback from the performances and have continued to write more poetry and more poetry with performance in mind. I saw at least one dance show every week for the whole of the autumn season. My uncle unfortunately started a battle against cancer. I reviewed a whole load of music festivals in Manchester and Cheshire for my friend's magazine Music from Rainy Skies. I got addicted to Bones all over again, and to Kathy Reich's novels, and I'll admit to 50 Shades of Grey and Twitter. I rediscovered Starbucks and Costa Coffee and soya hazelnut lattes. I started going to ballet again and feel like I've really learnt a lot since. I also started to learn African dance at Pavilion Dance in Bournemouth. I gained 2 gorgeous new nieces who, although they were born prematurely, are doing very, very well. I lost my boyfriend of 2 years because it was very clear that our lives were going in very, very different directions. And as soon as that happened, a friend of mine from university sent me this, which says, "You risk everything by not being yourself," and reminded me that no matter who I'm with or whether I'm with nobody, I have to be me. That is something I cannot lose. I moved 250 miles away from home to Bournemouth to start a new job with Pavilion Dance Southwest as their Youth and Education Coordinator. Despite losing that boyfriend not long after I got here, I gained a whole load of new friends in my colleagues at work, having sleepovers, meals, lots of wine, including mulled wine at Christmas, and walks on the beach. I've never been called up so many times for spontaneous breakfasts in my life. With my new job at Pavilion Dance Southwest, I have already seen and helped hundreds of young people experience dance and performance in new ways. I chaired a panel of young people judging applications for a youth dance festival that I'll be running in March, and I've managed 2BU, Pavilion Dance Southwest's youth dance company. I also ended up commissioning a visual exhibition, something I never thought I'd do. Earlier in the year I returned to the Manchester International Festival to work with them for a few days. It was really lovely to see some old faces and some old friends at a time when I was getting really rather frustrated with the industry. I produced and performed in the second incarnation of Flow, a dance and spoken word event, this time at the 24/7 Theatre Festival in Manchester in July. And of course my friends joined me to help with the filming and give me a bit of moral support.
A kilo of Rocky, 2 toes get you beamed up by Scotty, transform you into a disco magnet for hot toddy. A latter day Harper Hay, John Paul Gotti. Chilled out, you're on the edge. The Manx site's more freestyle than the dance moves of Bez. And at Christmas, revellers get pissed up under the watchful eye of a 30-foot rubber Father Christmas. Manx hearts have a hidden wisdom and a compassionate touch. Suppose that makes me a kinda peculiar Mancunaner. See, Manx the birthplace of Rolls Royce, trade unions, graphene, and the first computer. So all we 2.2 million say is, let me show you how we do it the Mancunian way. Let me, I'm changing key because I've lost my voice. Let me show you how we do it the Mancunian way. Thank you.
I was inspired by London 2012 and the Cultural Olympiad and also the Paralympics. Whilst I was working on Circus in London, I would constantly be coming back to my hotel room at night, and even though I was so unbelievably tired because it was very late and I had to be up again very, very early, I would instantly turn on Channel 4 and find out what had been going on with the Paralympics that day. The strength and sheer skill of those athletes really, really inspired me. In fact, even before the Olympics had started, when the torch was coming into Chester Racecourse, I could feel that I had a tear in my eye, just seeing that flame come in on the back of a horse. I got my nose pierced the second time and dyed my hair blonde. I was also constantly inspired by my friends who have suffered some great losses this year and have struggled through a lot of very, very difficult things. More difficult than you can imagine. They're a very, very strong bunch of people, and I am continually amazed by what they do. I went to so many parties and set up so many of my own, having fun in all parts of the UK and even the world.
Do your little trick. Well done. Hey, and back to the camera.
Funnier.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, we're 1 minute early.
I now live 250 miles away from my family and a very, very special group of friends. But when I go back to Manchester, it's always as if I've never left. And I know that a big part of my heart never will. So that's what happened in my 2012. Now what the fudge happened in yours? Post a new video with what the fudge happened 2012 in the title, or use a hashtag on Twitter, what the fudge happened 2012. And let's share what the fudge happened in our 2012s. See you next time. Bye bye.